Hey everybody, I'm Rod and Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos. And it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another Transformers review. So, here we go. This is WFC-S12 Megatron. He was released in the Voyager size class as part of Wave 1 of the War for Cybertron Siege toy line. As always, we'll start with the vehicle mode. Megatron's vehicle mode is a tank. It's a large gray tank. And of course, as with a lot of modern Megatrons, turns to a tank because if you don't know, the original Generation 1 Megatron turned into a gun. Not just like a ray gun or something, but like an actual licensed pistol, which was based off a real pistol you could actually buy. And so obviously, that isn't going to happen nowadays. So they reimagined Megatron as a gray tank. Which means that this is one of the only Siege figures to where the alternate mode isn't in a Cybertronian version of the classic alternate mode. So anyway, in tank mode, you can see he has treads, but these treads are fake. There's 4 tiny wheels underneath, and he can roll out freely. You can go and fight the Autobots. He has this massive turret, which can rotate, I believe, a full 360 degrees. Yeah, so it can rotate a full 360 degrees with difficulty. Fortunately, you can't get it to raise, but it can lower a bit. The cannon is very well painted. There's some silver here, a bit of red there, and the end of it can accommodate the blast effect pieces that you get with Battle Masters. So, there you go. Pew. It, of course, also has some storage for guns. The guns he comes with actually transform into the turret, but if you have other spare guns handy, you can put them on either tread there. He also has a few hard points to attach the little blast effect pieces to make it look like it's getting hit by something. Got one up top, if I can get it to stay. So there you go. There's one on the other side up top. I don't know if I'll be able to fit the explosion. Okay, and there's also one on the end here, but I can't really get to those, so I'll just save those for the robot mode. I should mention I'm not a fan of tank modes on Megatrons. Like, I'm fine with a tank mode if they actually make it look cool, but most modern Megatrons turn into a big gray rectangle with treads. And I don't like that. At the very least, this has a lot of nice paint applications to make it look interesting. Of course, it has some battle damage paint on the top. Can't really see it, but yeah, there you go. There it is. And also on the top of the treads there, you can see it. So anyway, that's pretty all I have to say about Megatron's tank mode. So with that done, let's move on to the packaging. So here's the packaging. As you can see, it is considerably bigger than a deluxe figures box. Here's Skytread, or not Skytread, this is Red Alert. Red Alert's box for comparison. So, it has the Siege logo on the front, Transformers logo, has Megatron's rank insignia on the back of the inside of the box. Can't really see it because the clear plastic window and the clear plastic inner tray that holds the figure on the inside are reflecting pretty well, but you can kind of see there it's in white. Turn it on its side, it says Megatron. Turn it on this side, you have the standard mural that, let's see if I can raise the camera a bit. I don't know, there you go. So, the standard mural that's on every Siege box. Again, I'm not going to go over this because I've gone over it in the Sideswipe review, and it is the same. Of course, this one actually has a little tear in it because I kind of ripped the side flap off when I was opening it. Whoops. So anyway, if you want to look at it, you can pause the video or go watch the Sideswipe review. So, here's the back. It has the robot mode and the tank mode there. You can see it transforms in 17 steps. It has a cross cell for the Battlemaster's blowpipe and fire drive. And it also, you can see, advertises you can fit the little blast effect parts on him, and you can also mount his weapons on his shoulder. I'll be demonstrating that once I get to the robot mode. And the package art. So, as with every Siege box, or really War for Cybertron Trilogy box, it has unique package art, which I really like. So, here you go. There's Megatron. Looks like he's standing over something, someone. I don't really know what that. I think that might be the face of Omega Supreme, because I know Omega Supreme's in the toy line. So yeah, I think it might be Omega Supreme's head, which, if that's the case, Megatron brought down a Titanic Transformer. Also, he has Cybertronian writing on his foot for some reason. I'm not going to go through the effort of translating that, but if you want to pause the video, let me see if I can zoom in. If you want to pause the video and translate that yourself, there you go. On the top, of course, he has the Decepticon symbol, because it is Megatron. And on the bottom, legal information. So anyway, that's the box. It's pretty big. And it also has a lot of cool stuff on it. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the robot mode. So here is Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons, in his robot mode. It's pretty big. I should not need to explain who this character is. If you know anything about Transformers, you know who Megatron is, at least. So let's just move straight to the articulation. He has a ball-jointed head, so you can move up and down a bit. Of note that this piece the head is on does not peg in at all, so it just kind of moves up every time you move the head up. I honestly don't know why Hasbro didn't just add like a tab or something to keep it in. Move his head side to side. Universal joints at the shoulders, so you can move out and all the way around. Now it's kind of hindered a bit by this backpack, but whatever. Bend at the elbow, swivel at the elbow. He does not have a wrist swivel. Waist swivel, although it's kind of hindered by the backpack. Universal joints at the thigh, so you can move out, forward, and back. Swivel at the thigh. You can have it out like that. Bend at the knee, and sideways foot articulation. So you can bend it like this and have them, or you can have it like this and have them stay flat. Of note, some people have actually had the ankles break clean off because, unlike the other ankle joints on these figures, this actually clicks into place. So some people have had problems with that actually just snapping clean off. So if you do have this figure, be careful. Moving on to the accessories. He has two accessories. So the first one is this tube, which the instructions call the D50 R35 Fusion Cannon. And basically what this is supposed to be is Megatron's iconic fusion cannon. Because pretty much every version of Megatron has some big gun that's either mounted on his arm or somewhere else, and it's called the fusion cannon. It's kind of become Megatron's signature weapon. And what you can do is you can put it in his hand if you're a complete madman. I don't know why you'd ever want to do this. Or you can have it actually be Megatron's fusion cannon and attach it on the hole on his arm. One of the only times I ever use these holes in the arms. And of course it's Megatron, so it's supposed to go on this arm, because that's how he has it in the cartoon and stuff. And I almost never take this off. Pretty much the only times I've ever taken it off are for this review. You can mount the little blast effect part in it. Make it look like it's firing. There you go. And his other accessory is this Titanic sword. This is about as tall as the figure. It's this massive sword. The instructions call it the HPR Telescopic Laser Strike Launcher. I think the reason they call it a laser strike launcher is because the blade can swing back, and it's the front of the tank turret. And you can do that. I don't really like it as a gun. You can use it as a gun if you want, but I prefer to use it as a sword. And there aren't very many swords in Siege, or really the War for Cybertron trilogy in and of itself, but when there is, they make it to where it can accommodate the effect piece that came with Lionizer, turn into a sword. So it has a little rectangular slot there, and you can put it up top. Of course, this is a tiny piece, and this is like a gigantic sword, so it doesn't really look the best. Or you could attach it there, and that's really it. It's only on one side. It's like they knew you were going to always put it in this hand. So let's remove the sword. The instructions also call out the fact that you can attach this. Like if you swing the blades back on the sword and turn it into the gun mode, you can have it just be like that, and he can somehow still stand like this. The instructions actually give this a name, and this is the NFM Particle Beam Mega Launcher. It's pretty impractical, as you can see. Just Titanic gun. I don't know why Megatron would ever have a need for this thing. It just seems like overkill. And of course, the instructions, or not the instructions, but the back of the box also say you can put it on his shoulder. I said shoulder, but really it's more like on the top of his backpack because they have these holes. So it just attaches on the top there. And you can put this. There you go. Megatron has a shoulder-mounted weapon for some reason. It's kind of drooping. Is that just like the... I don't know. And then, of course, his fists can accommodate any weapon released in Siege, including Battle Masters, like Blowpipe. His elbow joint is a little weak, droops a bit, so he can't really handle the bigger weapons, including his sword, which sucks. But whatever. And of course, he has holes that can accommodate weapons. You already saw the ones on the top of his backpack, and of course, in either arm, two in either arm. Then he has one in the side of each leg. He has two in his back, so he can't really accommodate Cog or any of the other similar figures very well. He does have holes in his feet. And of course, he also has the little attachment points for effect parts. I don't know why my Megatron's tipping backwards. Could just be I got the legs all wonky. So he can handle the little effect pieces. What did I say handle? He can attach the little effect pieces. Can't really fit it very well here, but there you go. And there's one on the other arm. This one attaches a bit better. And there's also ones on his legs. Fortunately, I don't think I'll be able to attach this. Okay, there you go. There's one on that leg and one on this leg. So he just took a knee shot or whatever. He also has a ton of battle damage paint. You'll find that the Voyager class figures are the ones with the most of this battle damage stuff. And you can see it's on his chest and on his arms and on his legs. It's everywhere. It looks good. A lot of people have problems with this stuff, but I honestly don't care. And once you attach the fusion cannon, it's pretty good. Of note that this Megatron does not have the original Generation 1 cartoon Megatron's back cannon. Some people have found that if you attach the small gray gun that comes with Siege or the Netflix exclusive Soundwave, it kind of looks like the gun. However, I've seen pictures and I have the Netflix Soundwave, so I've tried it out myself. And I have to say, the gun is way too small for it to look like Megatron's back cannon. I guess if you absolutely have to have Megatron's back cannon, what you can do is that you can fold the blades back here, and guess that sort of works. I mean, it sort of looks like it's supposed to, but it has this thing. So really, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the sword. It's cool for display, I guess, and it does kind of replicate the original Generation 1 Megatron figure's sword that they only had in the Japanese release. But overall, I don't really care for it. Fusion Cannon's cool, though. So anyway, that was my review of Siege Megatron. Final thoughts. Alright enough vehicle mode. Pretty decent robot mode. It's not my favorite Megatron robot mode, but it does look like Megatron, and it does look pretty cool. So, yeah, that's the only Wave 1 Voyager figure I have. I don't have Voyager Prime. So, next week we'll be moving on to the Wave 1 Leader class figures. Yeah. So, join me next week as we review WFC-S12 Shockwave.